For years, many Americans and Canadians lived in Mexico comfortably by entering on a tourist permit. Some stayed for months at a time, others left briefly and came back again. And for a long time, that approach seemed to work. But in 2026 and beyond, living in Mexico on a tourist visa is no longer a dependable strategy. The law itself hasn't suddenly changed. What's changed is how Mexico enforces its immigration rules. Travelers who once relied on repeated tourist entries are now experiencing shorter stays, more questioning at the airport, and in some cases, denial of entry. What used to feel routine has become unpredictable. A tourist permit in Mexico is designed for short-term visits, vacations, family visits, or brief business travel. It allows a stay of up to 180 days, but that number is not guaranteed. Immigration officers now evaluate entry based on your stated plans, your travel history, and whether your pattern of entry looks like tourism or residence. Two travelers with identical passports can receive very different outcomes. One may receive 180 days. Another may receive 15 or 30 days. Some are denied entry altogether. The deciding factor is intent. When repeated entries begin to resemble living in Mexico rather than visiting Mexico, scrutiny increases. Living in Mexico on a tourist visa relies on discretionary approval every time you cross the border. That approval cannot be extended. Leaving Mexico does not reset it, and each entry decision is independent. Certain patterns now raise concerns more frequently: repeated long stays, minimal time outside Mexico, long-term housing, personal belongings, or remote work performed while entering as a tourist. When these factors appear together, the risk increases. Overstaying a tourist visa in Mexico is taken seriously. It can result in fines, immigration records noting the overstay, and increased scrutiny on future entries. Even when resolved administratively, an overstay can complicate future travel or residency applications. For anyone planning to live in Mexico long-term, overstaying almost always creates more problems than it solves. Many people rely on online anecdotes when deciding what's safe, but immigration decisions are made in person, by an officer evaluating your specific situation. What worked for someone else last year may not work for you today. Past success does not guarantee future entry. For people who genuinely want to live in Mexico, the stable solution is legal residency. Temporary or permanent residency provides a legal basis to live in Mexico without repeated border uncertainty. It replaces improvisation with predictability. You should seriously evaluate residency if you're currently living in Mexico on a tourist permit, making repeated entries, planning to stay long-term, or have already experienced shortened stays or questioning. Taking action earlier preserves options and reduces risk. Living in Mexico on a tourist visa worked for many people in the past. In 2026 and beyond, it's no longer reliable. Mexico's immigration system now distinguishes more clearly between visitors and residents. Legal residency provides stability, predictability, and peace of mind. If you're unsure where you stand, a free residency pre-qualification assessment is often the safest place to start.